Hi, folks, and welcome to my top 200 games of all time. We are on 190. Let's get into this right now. I love history. I love board games around history. And when a board game comes with its own mini history book with it, you know I'm going to love Holy Cup, or what we call Cube. This is a game where you are just waiting in line to get one item, maybe, if you can. You're playing cards to kind of maneuver yourself to the top of this line to maybe, just maybe, grab that one thing in early 1980s Poland. Folks, I was around back then. I was a kid back then. I can't imagine that there was a world where I lived in physically where this was actually going on. But this is all based off a true story. The country of Poland puts out this game. I think you can still find it kind of cheap here and there. However, the expansions are a little expensive, and and they're not translated. Only the base game has been translated in English. But if you can find the first expansion, not the little promo pack, even though the promo pack's just extra cards, they do have some print and play ones. You can just print them out in the English language. I bought the game and then put them all in sleeves and then put the English translation on top of the card. So I have the actual cards here, but also the expansion comes with the event deck too, which is also historically thematic too. You read about the history of Poland, how bad things were back in the day. And this game is just so interesting to me. I love that you're just sitting there waiting in line and playing cards that maneuver your way to the top of the line or screw other players or move items here and there. And all you're trying to get is really I can't remember, just like 7 items or something. And everyone's want list is different. You always need 1 of one item, 2 of another item, 3 of another item, 4 of another item. So what's that? Oh, it's more than 7. It's like 9. I can't count either. Or like 10 items. But the thing is, though, everyone needs a different selection of those different types of numbers. So not everyone's going for the same thing sometimes. But remember, there's only like 1 or 2 items coming out. This game sounds awful, right? Waiting in line, low, high demand, low inventory. Who would want to play this? But the game is super fun. The artwork on the cards I really don't like, but we've kind of gotten used to it over time. It's just a strange little theme that is so much fun. Really, don't knock it till you try it, and you need to try Kolika. All right, number 189. Welcome back. Queen Games, Discover India. Terrible cover, but excellent gameplay. As you're moving through India, if you're the first to go into a city, you get a card, which is going to be worth a victory point at the end of the game. Those victory points do add up. Whenever you go to a festival, you'll get another victory point. Then that festival will move around the board. Well, wouldn't you want to keep going after the festival? In a way, that's great because you'd always be getting points each turn. Unfortunately, though, you're also grabbing whatever disc is there at that town and trying to put it on your player board. And however many discs you have of the same color that touch in a row, some colors being halvesies, which can count as maybe if you have 1 green, 1 yellow, then as 2 paths are intersecting, maybe you have the green go this way, the yellow go this way, and you didn't break a streak there. And the more that you have, the more victory points you get. And there's oh my gosh, like 12 different, I can't remember how many. There's a ton of different colors here. You won't have all the colors, but you can't just collect just one because after a certain amount, they become 0. The points are 0 after that. And so you want to have a good collection of all the colors, but it just depends on where because those little coins or whatever, the symbol tokens are all over the board in different areas. So you kind of have to maneuver where you want to go as you're traveling through India and trying to hit those festivals for the points. Also trying to go places where no one's gone before to get that extra victory point because those in-game points, they can win you the game there. And all the while, you're trying to set your board up to be this perfect thing where you're getting tons of points at the end of the game. And no one knows who the winner will be until the end, too. It's such a wonderful game. I absolutely love it. My nephew, this game is definitely in his top 10. It is one of his favorite games to play. He rarely plays games with me anymore. But if I brought out Discover India, he's like, oh, is it a game I like? And then he'll put down his phone or he has a tablet now. He put down his tablet and goes, I want to play because he loves this one. And I'll be honest, it's a good game. I just wish the cover wasn't so boring. All right, number 188 is a game that I hardly, if ever, win in. I think I've won the last 2 times, though, so I'm not getting too bad at Homesteaders. Homesteaders is a fun engine building game. As you're auctioning, you're trying to get different pieces of land. Whatever land you win in auction, there's a stack usually of buildings. There's 3 stacks of buildings, I think, that you get to search through depending on what kind of auction you won. That can help develop what your settlement's going to be. And it's all about getting this engine to work and trying to score the best points to get the best scoring engine that you can in a multitude of ways. This game is really smart, which is why I rarely win at it. My nephews can take me to the cleaners, and I still contest. If you lose the first 3 auctions, like you didn't get anything, you get the loser prize, at the end of the round. But if you didn't win anything, basically in back-to-back turns, you're at a disadvantage for the rest of the game. You've got to start winning at least one in the first 3 rounds. You've got to win one of those buildings. You cannot give it up every time. You cannot lose in back-to-back turns. That's going to put you behind. Not impossible to win, but if you lose 3 times in a row at the very beginning, just go ahead and just quit. Quit the game. You'll never get back in it. But I know that from personal experience. I was just everyone's spending way too much money for these. I was like, I'm not spending that money, stupid money. But yeah, then it ended up having no chance to win because people can build their engine really quick here. But the game is really there. I don't know how available this game is actually anymore. But my gaming group loves it because a lot of games I do win at. This game I have a terrible track record in, and so they're surprised I bring it out. And I do once a year. I'd bring it out more, but to be honest, yeah, I don't want to lose all the time. But I know they love it because when I bring it out, they're like, "Oh yeah," because I don't get fourth place if there's four players. I get dead last place. I'm so far behind third place. But the last two games, I think I actually squeaked out a victory there. So I might be getting a hang of this now. But anyway, Homesteader is a really good one. All right, number 187. I told you our Tippity games would be back. Pursuit of Happiness. They finally came out with that expansion, Nostalgia. I was so mad when they did the big box. I refused to get it because I just wanted the nostalgia game. They finally came out with that. I had to go on their website and buy all the little Kickstarter goodness expansions and mini stuff that came out. Exclusives that they sell on their website for a super amount of money, not worth getting in the grand scheme of things. But I'm a completist. I must have it all. This is the game of life on steroids. You're using these time pieces, using time as you grow up through the rounds. You're usually going to die in round 7 or 8 because you're 70 or 80 years old. Very rarely have I seen anyone get to 9. And I love the game. I love the game. And I'm almost, and my nephew loves this game too. It's probably one of his top 10 games as well. But the one issue I have with it, with all these expansions, there are these little heart cards. If you do this physical activity or whatever, you can maybe, it's not guaranteed, but you can maybe make it to round 8, maybe even round 9, which is very hard to do. If you make it to round 8, that's usually it. Everyone's dead by round 9. But usually after 7 rounds, it stops anyway. But I wish they gave more of those heart-healthy cards, and because there's very few. I mean, the ratio is probably 1 in every 25 or 30 cards is 1. And as they keep coming out with more expansions, there are no heart cards that can actually kind of help you live longer. And I wish there were more. Maybe just one expansion deck. Give me one expansion deck to shuffle into my deck. I really love that because I want to live for those last 2 rounds. Dadgummit. I always feel I died too young here. And you're not going to score that many victory points because you don't have that many actions left. The game is very thematic too. It's very thematic. I absolutely love it. Check this game out. It may seem overwhelming. Get the big box, save the money, get the big box, gets everything. Nostalgia is probably, I can't remember what I said in my review, but it was one of my favorite expansions there to get because I really did enjoy it. But yeah, get the big box. It has everything in there. It's definitely worth getting. Definitely worth getting. Pursuit of Happiness, wonderful game. All right, number 186 is from Mayfair Games. It's Urbania. If you like Ticket to Ride, you will like Urbania. If you don't like Ticket to Ride, like I do, you will like Urbania. Urbania is basically Ticket to Ride, but instead of just trying to grab the route that everyone's trying to get, sure, you may be trying to grab that one building everyone's trying to get, and you didn't get to it. That's okay, because when they developed this land, we're using their player cards. Basically, it opens up 3 to 5 more different units for you to. It makes the game easier to score instead of harder to score when you're playing Ticket to Ride. It seems like you're all going for this one track, and if you can't get it, now I got to go the long way. Oh wait, he got that track, so now I'm screwed. I hate Ticket to Ride. I hate it. Such a terrible game. But everyone who plays Ticket, a lot of my gamers love Ticket to Ride. And when they play this, I'm like, Matt, why do you hate Ticket to Ride? Because this is exactly like Ticket to Ride. It's like, no, it's different. More opportunity to score here. I got the subsidy contracts, a little expansion. You're not really needed. The base games alone is really good. You can get this game for super cheap too. My only complaint though is when you flip undeveloped and developed land is really hard to tell sometimes. And it's not for the colorblind either. But it is definitely a fun game, and you can really start getting some big points in it too by the end of the game. So definitely check this out, regardless of what you think about Ticket to Ride. If you hate Ticket to Ride, check it out. If you love Ticket to Ride, check it out because it's just a game that just scratches both itches there. Urbania, wonderful game. My number 185 has been in my collection for, a long time. It's Cleopatra and Society of Architects. I have the Days of Wonder version here. That new version looks so beautiful. 1,000,000 times every year, at least twice a year, I try to do a trade on Board Game Geek. And I mean, I try to make it well worth their money. I think I offered a guy 7 games, I think, from my collection for his one game of the new version of Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. He said, "Thank you. That's a very generous offer, but no, thank you." So I can't find anyway. It's games that they want too. I'm trying to give them games they want, but I can't get it in a trade. And it's too expensive for me to get on my own. But woo, this game is a lot of fun. I'm sure the new version looks even better than the old, and the old version looks great. But I just love this game where you're gathering cards, you're gathering corruption too, as you're trying to build a temple and get the most victory points, but also get rid of that corruption or you're going to be out of the game. So there's a great balance to this game that you shuffle one half of the deck face up and the other one face down. And as you're, dealing and trying to grab these cards, you can kind of see what cards are up, what cards are down, may make a good decision on where you're gathering cards, and you're card counting the whole time during this game too. Everything about this game is just awesome. I absolutely love this game. I don't know how much the old version goes for. I think both versions may be expensive, but man, that new version looks so good. Hopefully one day it'll be in my collection. But anyway, it definitely is. The Days of Wonder version is, and so as is, it's 185. All right, number 184 is a new game in my collection from my favorite board game designer, Virginia Gigli. It is Golem. Looking at Golem, and this is about when I found out that he was my favorite, because when I can't remember, there's another game I was playing of his. I was like, who is this guy? And then I realized I loved all of his games, but Golem was a game I kept looking at for a year after it had been out. I was like, man, this is not my type of game, but something about this game calls to me. And the moment I realized that it was a designer that I really love all these games from, I was like, done. And I went ahead and got Golem. Now, I'll be honest, it's a little frustrating at times playing Golem because there is a lot going on. It is hard to catch on, and you can't do everything. I know that's the point. You can't do everything, but out of the 3 types of resources, you're only going to be generating 2 of them, at best 2 of them at a time: knowledge, clay, and gold. You're going to be, not hurting for money, or you're going to be, not hurting of making golems really good, or you're going to have very knowledgeable apprentice to give you a lot of victory points. Either way, and everything can give you victory points, but I keep looking over here because the game's right over there. The couple of times I played with my nephews too. It took a while to get used to it. I played with my game group, and they love it. They love the theme. They love the artwork, and it's just, just getting used to it, trying to figure out the game. And it's very thematic too. As the golems, you'll always lose control. You will have to kill them off, but you got to keep making more. So clay is very important to get. And I didn't do that the first time. Lost heavily, and still haven't found the right balances. I did buy a bunch of the promos because I got to have everything about the game. So I don't think extra books, book cards, or extra resource cards, or whatever I got, I don't think that's going to add anything extra to the game for me. But I do know that I just adore the game. I wish the marbles, they were cheap plastic ones. I hate that one. I got one over here that has big thick marbles that you use. But I hate that the tray that you kind of dump them every round doesn't move them around that much, I've noticed. So because when we were dumping them, we kind of realized, you kind of know where they're going to go, because they don't get shuffled around a lot. So I wish you could maybe divide it. What we do is kind of shake and then kind of drop like this. But wherever they drop, that's usually the row they're going on. And so we're trying a better way to kind of, because that does impact the way the game is played, right? Where those marbles are dropped. So if someone drops them all on one side, they're all going on the bottom, not on the top, and vice versa. And we kind of noticed that. It was like, oh. So I wish the little marble tower was a little bit more random. But other than that, yeah, it is a good game. And it's been going down in price a lot lately. You can get this game for a really good deal. Anyway, my number 183 is a co-op game. Co-op games are not getting played that much, but maybe this one has hope. This one's called Flashpoint Fire Rescue. They came out with an expansion to the public, I think, last year, but that game has been around for Kickstarter backers for like 2 or 3 years now. Extreme Danger just makes everything super hard, like they needed it. Some levels I still have not beaten. I've had the game for years, and some levels I just cannot beat. I cannot beat the train station, even though I've come so close. The submarine. Oh my gosh, I can't beat the submarine. I don't know if I've beaten the plane one either. There's like 3 of them maybe I haven't beaten, or maybe it's the grease fire in the garage. I can't remember. Either way, though, you get all the expansion for these, and there's several scenarios, several characters you can play. All of them have a bonus that could really help you out in the game. This game is a lot of fun, and my little girl is into firemen. Fireman is her thing. She dresses up as a fireman for Halloween. It's all about firemen. She salutes the fire. We have a fireman that goes to our church. She loves him because he's a fireman. Every time she sees a fire truck, she goes crazy. She wants to, at the library, she checks out books on firemen. She loves firefighters. Right now, she's big into it, wants to be a firefighter. I showed her this game just about a week ago, and her brain fell out of her skull. She's like, oh, like Daddy has a fireman game. And she's a little too young, so I'd have to be like an alpha player, making the decisions for her. But I definitely want to get her involved with this, because if it, even if she kind of understands the gist of what's going on, doesn't know gameplay, it would be fun experience for her, just to play them through. My wife really loves this game. She never wants to play it, but sometimes she's got stuck having to play for whatever reason, and she's loved it every time. But she don't want to play it with me. But maybe with my little girl, she'll play it. Maybe I move this game around, because I remember I love co-op games. My board game group is not that big of a fan. We played this once, and they're like, okay, we played your co-op game, Matt. We were very nice. Now let's play something else. So I don't get to play that many co-ops, but hopefully her love of firefighters will increase the chances of this getting played more in the future. Hey, my next game is Alma Mater 182. Alma Mater, as you see, it dropped a little bit here, but nothing big. New games coming into the list all the time. You're running a university. You're trying to establish your book as being the most prestigious books in out there in the scholastic world. You're trying to attract new students. You're trying to attract counselors, and then you're trying to also attract professors, which are actually before counselors. And the game is very smooth, just like all their games. I can't remember their name right now, but anyway, the game is really smooth. I love how the books look. The books look great. I got the new students like mini expansion pack, because I want everything with the game. And my only complaint, well, maybe I have 2 complaints here. One is boy, it is hard to get a professor. You are getting one professor for sure, maybe a second one at the end of the game. It is really hard. Now, chancellors, which probably should be the hardest, if you're playing right, you're probably getting two or three. I mean, two of them definitely, maybe a third one if you went really hard. Why are chancellors, which are in a way better cards, easier to get than a professor? Professors to me just seem so daggum hard to get every round. And also, it's a stupid move, but so many people are doing it these days. I wonder if this game's even worth keeping now, because why drop so much is someone wisely found out the one game we played that if he made his books the most prestigious, but then didn't offer to sell any, because that's how you can gain points, is by people buying your books. But he's like, I'll just generate my own money and I won't bring that many books out. And he just really ransacked the market and then just kind of ran away with the game. And maybe there's a way around that. I'm going to see if there's a strategy that can beat that. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you can let me know in the comments. But it really seemed like, and everyone now knows that's the strategy. Get your book to be the most prestigious, the most in-demand book, and then make copies really rare, so that you'll always have an advantage. Ooh, that's a tough one to overcome there. But I do enjoy the game. I do love the game, and this is another one that I always see going on sale all the time. So super cheap too. So definitely check it out. Finally, number 181 is a racing game. Oh, I love Mississippi River. Mississippi River, man. It's like you're speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. You never know. You got these tiles, and when you get to the end of the board, you roll this die. You're either going left, right, or straight. You could go from first to worst, from last to first, and so on and so forth. But you also have to drop to the lowest speed to pick up at least 2 Southern Belles at 2 different islands. And then when you get to the dock, you must end on a 1, which is the lowest speed. And that's thematic, because why would your riverboat be crashing into the dock at top speeds? Woo! This game, and they did come out with a new reprint of it that has the expansion in it too. So it's definitely worth getting. Even though it's a kind of slow, your stop, go racing game. This game never takes that long. We play with 4 players, 5 players, and we can get a game in like under 20 minutes. I mean, because you just start really getting into it as you're moving around, trying to push other steamboats out of the way. And oh, wow, just a lot of fun. And I'm glad this one got a reprint, because now it's really, if I did not have the original game of this, I would definitely pick up the reprint. The reprint looks so good. But anyway, Mississippi River, my 181. Hey, folks, that's it for now, but I'm not done. I've still got 180 more games to go over, and I'll do that next time.